Love is the only truth, yes? Love is the only truth. Here at Centers for Spiritual Living, we know that to be true, that there is one power, one presence in and through all creation. We can call it whatever we want. We can call it love. We can call it God, Spirit, that which is beyond name. It is all. And since it's in all things, it's in us, right? It's in me. It's in each and every one of us here. That's amazing. That's right there. Like just that alone, I could just bask in that all day, all lifetime. There's a third thing that we talk about here, which is this awareness that this creative power, because it's in all things, including us, we can co-create our lives with the divine, right? With our beliefs, with our thoughts, with our emotions. And some of us, when we first really grok that whole idea, we get really excited. We come like, oh man, I'm going to manifest some stuff, right? Like, yeah, I am a co-creator, yeah. Now, this isn't always how it goes, but some of us, when we really get into this idea of co-creation with Spirit, we might have some experiences of manifesting things we love and embrace, and then sometimes what can happen is there's something we really, really, really want in our lives, and it's not happening, and we say, is God broken? Right? Or worse, am I broken? Not a good place to be. That's what we want to talk about today, those stuck places. Our title is Maximize Your Creative Power, because you can really only maximize your creative power by co-creation with Spirit, by letting Spirit in, and that can look different ways, and that's what we want to address and kind of dive into today, including a story of what that might look like. So does that sound good? I'm so glad, because that's what we're going to talk about. So Melissa's gonna get us started.
Hopefully you think that's a good idea, because that's what we're doing.
It's always a risk to ask that question.
Good morning. We are very glad to be here. So, co-creation with the divine. One of the things I love to do is when we are about to give a talk, I look up the definitions of all the words in the talk. Co-creation with the divine. I'm thinking I don't need to define the divine because I can't. But co-creation, I went to the dictionary, and do you know that co-creation is not in there? What? Yeah, WTF. So I had to think about, okay, so what is co-creation? And I came to collaboration. Seems good, right? Co-creation, collaboration. So I did look up the definition of collaboration. Collaboration is the action of working with someone to produce or create something. The action of working together with someone or something to produce or create something. That seems right? Okay, so I don't know about you, but when I came to this philosophy, I was so excited to manifest some stuff. And I was not thinking about the with someone part. Am I the only one? I was like, oh my God, I have creative power. The divine is everywhere. I am that. And I can create stuff by getting conscious and aware of my beliefs and changing them and shifting them and realigning my energy to become the place where that greater good can come through, right? Okay, so that's all good, but I left the other with whom I am creating at the very beginning of that, right? Oh yeah, there's all that, and that's here, and then all the rest of it's me. Because I have this creative power, which is true. But has anyone here ever had to collaborate with someone they didn't like? a few of you. Yeah, it's not fun, right? So what we're inviting is that part of that process of co-creating with the divine in the most powerful way is when we really fortify and deepen that relationship with the I-thou aspect of the divine. So, not to scare you, I'm not saying, we're talking about only that God is outside of you. I'm not saying that. But I'm talking about that aspect of the divine that is, we can have relationship, communication. It's just, it's outside and also within and everywhere. And this is the beauty of all of that, is that alone is so yummy. And there is this infinite power that is us, and it is greater than us. It is all that it is, creates everything and recreates everything. Every moment. Yes? And as we deepen in our relationship with that, we get better at hearing and talking to, just like in relationships with a human. So we spend time. That's what we do. When we develop a deepening of a relationship with a human being, we talk to them and we listen to them. This is what develops intimacy, right? We talk to them and we listen to them. They say it's very hard to continue to hate someone you know. Because once you get to know them, you're like, oh, I see. Even if we disagree on some things, you're kind of cool in this way or this way, right? So as we get to know the divine, it's so much more fun to create with it. And I think not just for us. I think spirit has more fun too. Okay, so we're talking about cultivating that communication by spending time in relationship, consciously cultivating that relationship. When I was in ministerial school, I started right before Z, and then we did ministerial school together. That's another talk. We'll have to come back for that one. But so I had just had a class in which I had a whole new level of an experience of that relationship, that I-thou relationship. So I had this like suddenly a new level of experience of talking to and listening to the divine. And I was in this collaborating experience where I was told who I would be collaborating with, and I didn't like them. I didn't know them. I still don't know them, and honestly, that's okay with me, if you know what I mean. So I was dealing with this person, and we were doing emails back and forth. I got this one. Now, I was getting like escalatingly more irritated by this person. Can anyone relate to this? Like, oh, we're supposed to be collaborating, and I'm not digging this at all. So I get this one particularly difficult email one morning. It was so awful. I just was like triggered beyond comfort, way beyond comfort. And I couldn't figure out a way to respond that could pretend to be at all ministerial. So I decided not to respond yet. That's always a good step. At least that was a good choice. And what I did instead was what I do in such times of kind of trauma for me. I went to the beach. So we live in Santa Rosa. That's a 30-minute drive. All the way out to the beach, I'm knowing that I'm going to the beach to have a communication with spirit. Not that I can't do that at home, but this particular time I needed the extra chi of the ocean to cleanse my palate, to open to the divine, to tell me how in the heck I can reply to this person, to pretend to be ministerial, because I would be pretending in that particular moment. But I was willing to do that. So I'm walking, I get to the beach, I walk down to the water, I turn to take my walking on the beach walk, and I start walking, And what instead I hear come out of my mouth is, Spirit, why? Why are you making me go to ministerial school? Ministerial school was hard. They say, welcome to ministerial school where we will rip off your face and give you a new one. That's a joke, ha. And it's kind of like what happened for me and for most people I know in a great way. I'm not sorry for any of it. And this part was really hard. So that was the question that came, much to my surprise. And I heard this voice. It was like in the movies where you hear a voice from the sky. And I heard, you have no idea. It was so loud and so clear that it literally stopped me in my tracks and tears just sprang to my eyes. And then I heard it again. You have no idea. So I gathered myself a little and I kept walking and being with that. And I came to two things. One, that the little me, the little human me, Melissa, walking on the beach, I have no idea. I just don't. I have no concept of the vastness and the intention and the greater picture. We just don't get to know that. Right? Like right now, our town is being evacuated. Our house is okay so far. And I'm trusting a perfection. 2 years ago, we did get evacuated. And, it's like you can just know there's a perfection without knowing what it is, which is the opportunity we have as humans. To know there is a perfection underlying. And so I knew that in my small human self, I had no idea. And my summary from that was, I have no idea as a small human. And the other message was, it was gonna be really good on the other side. Like I had no idea how good it was gonna be. Because I listened and said yes. Because I listened to Spirit after 20 years or so of fighting and said, yes, okay, I'll break down. I'll go to ministerial school. And I know that on the other side of a yes to a calling from the divine, there is greater good than I can know. That was the other piece. So those were my two takeaways. And my summary from that was, listen and do what you're told and then shut up. Just shut up. That was my summary. Now, the worst experience for me in collaborating is when I'm collaborating with someone who's like a dictator. You know that people, like you're put together with someone and you go, okay, they're my person, okay, and then they come with their outline and their list of how it's going to be, and you're supposed to jump on board and call it yours. That's their idea of collaborating. Has anyone else had this? Okay. So when I started looking at my history in this philosophy with that awareness of my power, I realized I had been a dictator with Spirit. Because I came to the realization, I have power. I can change my beliefs and co-create, or in my mind then, create with the divine. And so what I did with that was, okay, here's what I want. Here's my vision board and my list and my outline and my details and what it needs to look like and what it needs to not look like. And if you could do it by this time, please. Right? Like those old Burger King ads, you could have it your way. That's what I was placing my order, you know. So what I feel now is that not only is that not as fun for me, it doesn't create as much of a yummy goodness for me, but also I think Spirit doesn't find that as fun. Right? Like, if we don't like it with other humans when we have to collaborate, supposedly, with a dictator like that, maybe Spirit would have more fun if we would leave some room. Right? Right. So that's our invitation, is that you leave some room. We all leave some room for Spirit. So, because we know that part of what can help to bring that room for Spirit is we get into the feeling, the emotion of the experience we want to have with an area. And then we leave all the details to the divine. You've heard this. Yeah. And the faster to create a expediency and a comfort and a goodness with the creation of that, our part to do that is to feel it, is to feel the way we want to feel now. Right? So we have 3 hacks for that. Are you ready? Okay. Sometimes people ask me, does everybody here know what a hack is? It's a little trick, a little shortcut. Okay. So first of all, your magical phrase. What is your magical phrase? Don't panic. I don't expect you to know what I mean. So by magical phrase, I'm talking about that thing that you inadvertently, autonomically say when a good surprise happens. Someone you just thought of and you were wondering, you don't know how you could even find them again in life, and you get a notice from them on Facebook. You're really longing to talk to somebody, and they call you that day on the phone. What is that phrase that comes to mind for you? There might be a word in it that you wouldn't normally say in church. Mine, I discovered at one point, is, oh my God. That's what I say. I happen to say the same phrase when I don't like what's happening. Oh my God. Right? But when I'm spontaneously surprised and happy by what's happening, I say, oh my God. So you have your spontaneous magical phrase. We call it magical because it's the hack. If you want to help yourself feel the way you want to imagine feeling when the dream you want has happened, you following me? You can say that phrase. Oh my God. Or whatever yours is. So that's one hack. And then there's 2 phrases that I particularly love, we particularly love. One is, this is beyond my wildest dreams. Because when I say that to myself, without picturing the details of what that is, because it's beyond my wildest dreams, which of course is giving room to Spirit. We're not being a dictator then, right? We're saying, make it better than I can imagine. Oh my God, this is beyond my wildest dreams. And then the other phrase is, it's better than I could even have imagined. Those are our 3 hacks. So I want you to just close your eyes for a moment and imagine, what is your phrase? What is your go-to spontaneously happy phrase? Let that just come to mind, that thing you automatically say. Beautiful. Take a deep breath and let that go. And please welcome my wife, Z.
Thank you. No, you're actually applauding for her. All right, I'd like to share a story about using these hacks, all right? So this was about 12 years ago, I think now. So I went to the Center for Spiritual Living, Santa Rosa, and I saw this speaker named Melissa Phillippe, who I did not know at the time. I went and saw her, and she gave a talk, and in the talk she talked about this idea of beyond my wildest dreams, more amazing than I could imagine, right? And I'm sitting there, and I thought, oh, wow, exactly what I needed to hear. Because at that time, I had been a practicing metaphysician for a while. I'd been meditating, doing affirmative prayer, all that. And I'd had a lot of good experiencing manifesting wonderful things with prayer in terms of vocation and abundance and health. But there was one area that was tricky and difficult and not really happening for me. And that was the area of relationships. Yeah. So ever since I first embarked on the wild and wacky road of relationships, I'd had a few challenges, a few hurdles. One was I was raised in the Midwest in the 60s and 70s. So the whole gay thing, like there was no checkbox for that, like no, just not an option. So that took a while. I finally moved to California, so that helped. So I finally got clear on that, gay, check, right? The next was my gender identity and expression. So I identify as gender rich, whole lot of gender going on. My wife actually came up with that term. Also took a while to kind of figure out what that was all about. Again, moving to the West Coast helped. So finally, okay, gay, check, gender rich, check. But then there was one more thing. I'm sure none of you will be able to relate to this. I had a tendency to be attracted to unavailable people. Now, I'm sure, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, it goes like this. So, if someone really liked me, I wanted nothing to do with them. And if someone didn't care about me at all, I found them very, very attractive, right? Now, this was not working for me at all, right? I mean, yeah, like my idea, not working. So I'm sitting there and I'm hearing this Melissa Phillippe person talk, and she's saying this idea of, beyond my wildest dreams, let the divine in. And I realized, like I've been dictating, and my idea is not really working. So I need to bring this into my prayer work. I need to bring these phrases, this idea, into my prayer work. Stop dictating. Let the divine do it. It's not really working when I'm doing. Now, you might wonder, what did I think about this Melissa Phillippe person up there? Like, did I realize, it's my future wife? Nope, didn't get that at all. She seemed cool, though, and I was very excited about what she said. So I did go up after her. I was really excited about these ideas. She doesn't really remember me at all. She, vaguely remembers this enthusiastic nerd, gender-rich nerd, barely. Yeah. Whatever. I was excited. I was excited about the idea. So I went forth, and I'm doing my meditation, I'm doing my prayer, I'm doing this work. And I noticed something start to happen, especially in the part of my prayer where I'm opening to this relationship. We're taught here, you don't outline, right? You don't outline, you don't give these specific things. That's what we're talking about, right? This idea of being open. But I kept seeing this very specific image when I'm doing my prayer work. I see this image of this woman with short blonde hair. And I'm thinking, well, I don't think I'm outlining. I think I'm psychic. I think that's what it is. I think I'm so in tune with spirit. I'm so enlightened that I'm getting the future is just, I don't know. So sometimes prayers take a while, right? We know that, right? Sometimes when you're opening to Spirit's vision for you, it takes a while. So a year after I'm praying, doing all my work, a year after I first see the Melissa Phillippe person, I go to this event. It was Woman Spirit, a spiritual retreat, and Melissa Phillippe was there. And this time she actually wanted to talk to me because I'd had a couple novels published, and so someone told her, you should talk to Z about that. So we're talking, and we noticed it was really nice to talk to each other, right? There was a lot of energy there. And there was 100 women at this retreat, so there was other people who wanted to join the conversation, and we didn't really want to talk to them, It was but it's a spiritual retreat, so you have to be namaste, We were namaste, we don't really want to talk to you, but namaste, yeah. So that was that. And then about a month after, I was trained in classical piano, but I was starting to play at church, and I was starting to play under the prayer, so I went for a lesson with Melissa. And The second lesson of 2 that we had, we talked for 4.5 hours. Again, still not getting what's going on. Now, at the time, she thought she was straight, and I'm waiting for the woman with short blonde hair, right? I've got my, I'm psychic, yeah. So 2.5 months go by. We think, oh, I've met my new best friend. 2.5 months go by, and both of us then, at around the same time, not even on the same day, both woke up like, oh, that's what this is. Now, this was answered prayer. We were both praying for something beyond our wildest dreams, which often means outside the box of what you expect. Because really, Spirit is so much smarter than we are. I say that all the time. Spirit is so much smarter than I am. I mean, I'm humbled every day. So when we woke up to this, it was like, oh, not what we expected at all, right? But definitely answered prayer. And so here we are, all these years later, 11 years later, we're married. It is a relationship that's beyond our wildest dreams. It's like best ever. And all this other stuff has come with it that we didn't expect, not our idea, right? To become ministers together, to start doing the music stuff we do, like all these things. None of it's our idea. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Z, you gender-rich weirdo you, what about that woman with short blonde hair? What was that about, right? Okay, well, so you know that pattern I talked about, with the unavailable people? I was the one who was unavailable, right? That's why I was attracting that to me. Yeah. And so I got tricked. I'll just say it. Spirit tricked me. I got tricked because I had that vision in my head of this person, right? So that the whole time when I'm first hanging out with Melissa, I can be available to a friendship which could naturally lead to a marriage, but I was available for it because I had this vision. So I think Spirit did put that vision in my head, but not the way that I thought, because again, Spirit is so much smarter than I am, right? Yeah. So, here's the question for you. Is there something, anything in your life, that you have, up until this moment, been unavailable to? Anything? And if so, are you willing to stop dictating and to co-create with Spirit, to be available to greater good? Maybe? Yes? Yes. Okay. So Melissa's going to do one more thing with you.
Whenever Z tells that story, I always want to yell out from my seat. Because when we were both on our own praying during that time before we got together, beyond our wildest dreams, and I always want to, like, Z was way beyond my wildest dreams, if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay. So what I'd like you to do is bring that area of your life to mind. And close your eyes. And take a deep breath. That area of your life where you have the most, and just pick one. If you have more than one, just land on one for this morning. The longing you have. And what is that longing for? What is the word or the phrase or the experience, the emotional experience that you want to have in that area of your life? Your wildest dreams, your greatest fantasy. If it was beyond your wildest dreams, what might it feel like? That area of your life. And I want you to bring that feeling into your heart and breathe into it. And imagine with me, just for the moment, that this is the way you feel about this area of your life right now. that this is sometime in the future, and when you think about or talk about this area of your life, this feeling is the spontaneous feeling that comes, this feeling. And that along with that feeling, what pops into your head is your spontaneous phrase. Oh my God, or whatever is yours. And so in this moment, Harriet is with me on this. You have permission to say whatever that is. If it includes a profanity, then it's a sacred profanity for this particular next few minutes. Because what I want you to do is you're going to say your phrase out loud after me. I'm going to say mine. You're going to say yours. But the point of it is to stay centered in your heart, imagining that this feeling of joy, of being blown away in whatever way, is how you're feeling about that area of your life right now in whatever time in the future. Because there is no time, really. And so you tune into your heart, you feel that feeling, and then you repeat your phrase after me. Staying centered in your heart, in that emotional experience. Oh my God. Say your phrase. Oh my God. You? Oh my God. Oh my God. And now open your eyes and oh my God. And look to a neighbor, because you know you will when it's true, and you say, oh my God. Beautiful. Now breathe that in again to your heart. Imagining that feeling in your heart now pouring forth and vibrating out and radiating throughout your whole body. Breathing that in. Your breath fanning the flame of that emotional experience. Radiating throughout your being, radiating out from you throughout your life. For you are now that beacon. Vibration going forth from you. Infinite, beloved Spirit. We are aware there's only you. You and only you. And we give this experience, this emotion, this dream to you. Allowing you to do your part. All the rest of it. We feel it. We are grateful in advance of this great good. And we give you all the details, all the rest of it, all the how. Because we know you are way smarter than us. So we take our little hands off of it. We listen. We are guided. We are directed. We are compelled to take the action and do the words, say what is ours to say and do. And we allow ourselves to be compelled to not say and not do what is ours to not say and not do. And we let you do all the rest of it. We are so grateful, so blown away by how you take this, how you do it, how you make it so. And from here we understand that all that comes forth from this time, all that is in what our time-space continuum we experience as after this moment, we understand that all that comes is the answer to this prayer because we trust you. because we know you have our good. Because we know deeply and more deeply in every moment that we are infinitely loved by you. We are infinite love. We are held in you, loved by you, directed by you, breathed by you. So with great gratitude for this answered prayer, we send this beacon of love and light and gratitude, and we allow it to go forth from this place, blessing our lives and going forth and blessing the lives of everyone. We send this very love, this very gratitude to all of Southern California, Northern California, everyone affected and working on the fires. Understanding that this too is you doing your thing. And so with great, sweet love and appreciation for how you make it so much better than we can imagine, we release this to you completely, knowing that as we let it go, we let it be. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.